and welcome to Atlantic Blowout. Atlantic Blowout is a syndicated live program of the network featuring chit-chatting and conversation on special interest topics, news, events and stories through correspondence reports, expert opinions and stakeholders' analysis. Now to the stories making the headlines. In Kogi State, kidnapped students rescued by security operatives.
And on the economy, EFCC to embassies charge in Naira.
In education, MBTE speaks against over-enrollment in polytechnics.
And on fuel scarcity, customs intercept 8.7 million Naira petrol smuggled towards Benin Republic.
In cybersecurity, suspend implementation, Tinubu orders CBN.
And on oil theft, JTF uncovers 50 illegal refining sites.
We'll go on a short break, and when we are back, the conversation on Atlantic Blowout will begin.
Thank you so much for staying right here with us. We will introduce our guests right here with us. We have Ambassador Soa M. Hart, JP, the Vice Chairman, Ijaw National Congress, Eastern Zone. Very good morning to you. Welcome, Ambassador.
Good morning.
Good to have you.
Good morning to our viewers.
Thank you for coming.
And we have right at the studio also a public affairs analyst, Ambassador Dr. Ekie. You're welcome, sir.
My pleasure.
Good, thank you for coming.
Same here.
All right, we'll go straight to the stories that we have on our table today. According to the Kogi State government, some of the kidnapped students of the Confluence University of Science and Technology, COSTECH, in Osara, at Davi Council area of the state, have been rescued by security operatives in the state. The state government made this known in a statement on Sunday that's signed by the State Commissioner for Information and Communication, Mr. Kingsley Fowle. Even though the actual number of rescued students were not stated, Fowle said a DSS officer and a member of the vigilante were, however, shot at by their adopters during a crossfire. The statement read apart, "This is to inform the general public that some of the students adopted by gunmen at the Confluence University of Science and Technology, Osara, have been rescued safely by local hunters and some security agents." Just hours after the executive governor of the state, His Excellency Ahmed Usman Ododo, visited the institution to assure the parents of his commitment to rescuing the students. The vigilante men and security agents engaged the kidnappers in a fierce shootout, and the kidnappers succumbed to superior firepower and escaped with gun wounds, leaving the kidnapped students, who also ran in different directions to avoid being caught.
You find out that most of the people arrested too that are these bandits, most of them are security agents. They have their, they do tip-offs, they give guns to these people by making money. So these are things the government need to look into and ensure that all these areas are being covered.
Now, how can the government look into this sort of situation? Because this is a clear case.
If actually we want to trap down security, we can do it. Because I know during the Buhari administration, there was this Deputy Inspector General that was retired. He was supposed to be the IG. He's from Edo. He was retired. If that guy, because that guy has a plan how to combat security, but because the fact that Northern has never wanted him to come in, because of this ICA.
So you're saying that tribal
Not really. It's going to affect me. So the best thing I do is I try to stop it from coming in. So most of the people that were at the top, aim of affairs never wanted him to be the IG. So they now brought the northerner. That will just look off the security aspect of the country.
If you say that they brought the northerner, you are giving us, so you're giving...
It is the local
Local vigilantes and security operatives.
Okay,
so they did it together.
We commend the combined
Efforts.
force on the combined team. What matters is that the children has been released. But again, I want to join. He talked about money game.
Yes.
You know, from when security votes became lucrative to governors, has been on the high increase. And of course, when there is no insecurity, you cannot really justify the issue of security votes. So possibly it could be artificial that these things could be stage managed to ensure that governors the essence.
Exactly the question.
Yes.
What exactly is it meant for?
That's what we
if the reason it is on the table or if the reason it is provided is not being met. We have had various cases of insecurity in Nigeria.
The issue is it is not conditional. The security vote is not accounted for. So whenever there is no
It's unaccounted for.
Yes. So whenever a resources is not wherever there is no accountability,
There's a problem.
there is a problem. So it becomes a free will,
A charity.
if I'll use that word.
Charity donations.
Yes, and charity donations are not very effective.
So you believe that if we have the security votes accounted for, are you also advocating for accountability?
It's a pity we are all Nigerians and we have to be sincere. Like they said, the locals, have they also been given the security vote? No. No. But they put their life at stake. For God's sake, if we want this thing to work, we just have to do community policing, whether we like it or not. When you go down to the community and you ask them to police their area and you make funds available for them, for God's sake, we will combat insecurity.
Now, talking about making funds available for them, with the current policing, we already have a serious case of, we have a problem of funds. Do you think with state policing funds will be made available?
Is it when you say...
Do you think it will be better?
Yes, it will be better because when you say, then there will be accountability. There will be accountability.
Are you
Now, why
saying
can't
that
there be accountability now?
There cannot be accountability now because when the top man wants to eat from what is coming out, what is security vote?
So
is to ensure that there is security at that area, in the state. But because there's no accountability, security vote is being channeled to different things. Buying cars for this, buying cars for that. It's not security vote again. It's charity. You understand? But when we say local policing, let's assume that we have local vigilante, and every month to pay them so amount, they will put everything they have in that.
But there have been fears when discussions of state policing come up. There have been fears that some of
government
these
are going to hijack
might
it.
abuse it.
No. If you listen carefully, there's difference between community policing
and state security.
Policing.
Go on.
Now, he made mention of community policing, which I tend to agree with him that the community policing is quite effective.
Very, very.
If you look at so many instances, even in River State, where the community police indirectly was, so to say, used, to curb insecurity in most of the communities, it worked. So our advocacy is, we are not against any governor, we are not against any local government chairman, but we are always saying that if from your sincere heart, you know that this pair with the security result we are getting. So if we are getting the security result, then we can say, oh, wonderful. Security is a major need of any society.
Of course.
So investing in it is a wonderful idea.
Okay.
But utilizing that resources is what we are saying it should be reviewed so that we can have effective, security system in the country.
All right. Okay, quickly.
Let me use my local government as an example.
Okay.
I'm from a local government.
Okay.
We have a woman as a local government chairman.
Yes, that is correct.
Now, for the past, throughout last year, we hardly heard about kidnapping on the sea, because she makes sure that she fuels the boats that are always on the sea. But just because 2 of the boats packed down, 7 persons were kidnapped. There was no more security on the sea. But sure, so if what we're asking is that the state should also help the local government, because the gunboats we are using were the ones the community bought. The local government bought those gunboats too. That's what we are using. So if we have support from the state, I'm happy seeing is there. Look, let us sleep. We are behind him because he is our project. You know, when they say somebody is your project, you know what you mean? SIM is our project. In Boy local government, come to that place, you cannot see anything that has to do with government put on ground. River State government put on ground. So what we have today, that is our own project, the Bonny people, is SIM. And that is what we are all...
Foreign missions domiciled abroad to accept Naira in their financial businesses. The move, the EFCC noted, is to tackle the dollarization of the Nigerian economy and the degradation of the Naira. The Anti-Graft Commission, in an advisory to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tugger, titled EFCC Advisory to Foreign Missions Against Invoicing in US Dollar, expressed reservations and displeasure regarding the unhealthy practice of some foreign missions to invoice consular services to Nigerians and other foreign nationals in the country in United States dollars. The EFCC cited Section 21 of the Central Bank of Nigerian Act 2007, which makes currencies issued by the Apex Bank the only legal tender in Nigeria. Now, just yesterday, this was discussed on ATN Sunday, and again, we're bringing it back because it is something that is very crucial and should be continually spoken about, as we've had a lot of issues with foreigners in Abuja. A few weeks ago, a supermarket was shut down because of the use of yuan.
Yeah, but I think now the EFCC is trying to live up to expectation. Before, we used to believe that our problem is just about Nigerians. But until we realize that our major problem is also being infiltrated by foreigners. When you go to other countries, intentionally you will obey their laws. Intentionally, consciously. I've been privileged to travel out to other countries. So, but once you come into Nigeria, it looks as if the law is not actually relevant to foreigners.
So why is that? Why does it look like the law is not relevant to foreigners?
Because we always function like the colonized people, the conquered people. Colonized people don't think that their colonial masters, should be spoken to. They feel that they don't need to demand anything from their colonial masters. So we suffer what I would call social engineering.
Is it just a thing that is it just something that has to do with foreigners? Let's not forget that. Let's bring it home now. Yes. There are some of our laws which some of us are breaking, and then implementation of those laws is a problem. So is it just because they are foreigners?
You see, you are speaking like one of them again.
One of who?
I'm
speaking like one of them.
No. Sorry.
No, I need to know who I'm speaking like.
Let me come.
Okay, come. Colonial masters.
How can I be speaking like the colonial masters?
When you travel abroad, their citizens are if you travel to any country that uses pounds, you must get their pounds intentionally. But when you see a foreigner in this country, majority will want to spend.
Okay.
On
Let me hear Ambassador here now.
Yes, because
are we just channeling
it?
Yes, are we just channeling it to foreigners?
No.
Are we also looking at the laws that are being broken here and we're not even looking at implementation? Yes, let's get to your
Nigerians were above the law.
Oh, Nigerians are supposed to be above the law.
No, we're not supposed to. You say
okay.
Nigerians are supposed to be. No, you are not supposed to.
Okay.
Nobody's supposed to be
Okay, I
above
thought you said Nigerians are above the law.
Nigerians are above the law, yes.
Oh, okay.
It's a crime.
Explain that.
It's a crime that needs to be looked into. Okay. A situation where somebody does something wrong, the person is arrested. I'm in PDP. They call it embezzlement, and I'm arrested by EFCC. And the next 15 minutes, I'm in APC, because APC is the ruling party, and they will just turn their eyes away. Let me ask you a question. Just country behind us, Ghana. You don't use dollars in Ghana. You don't use naira in Ghana. As you enter Ghana, you change to the city. For God's sake.
Now, this seems like this is an embassy situation. Cool. These are embassies charging Nigerians
to use dollars.
Yes.
To use dollars.
Yes.
So which person's fault?
That is the question.
Is it the foreign country?
EFCC now has come to say to stop them.
Good. That is what we are looking for. Will
yes.
they implement it? That is just it. Not to write it and say, do this. When you start climbing up those that are, okay, look at, go to presidential. You see people selling dollars. Instead of people coming to buy naira, they're selling dollars. All these things should be stopped. If we want to make sure that our economy becomes something meaningful for us here, we have to make a U-turn by making sure that every Nigerian believes in his currency. I know the period when white men will come to my father's house. When they are going, they'll give me $1. $1 is 1 naira. Very big money. Then, that was in the 70s. But today, Nigerian money like Idi Amin is shit money.
We have to take that word.
Okay, I will no. Okay, I'm sorry to say this because I'm not happy with my country. I have to be sincere.
So why do you fear?
We don't put a round peg in a round hole. We don't do it. And when you tend to do it, people will sabotage you.
And now the EFCC have stated this.
So why
do you fear implementation?
EFCC will not implement it.
Why? Why do you think so?
No, I will tell you why.
Why? Tell us.
Now, I'm the finance commissioner, minister. And what we want is to make sure that we boost our economies.
Of course.
What I should be doing now is to see how I can support EFCC in line with what the laws they brought out. But that will not be done because everybody will pull up their eyes. They have interest. My children are all abroad. I need to buy money to send to them. They can continue their schooling. And where are you buying the money from? Most of them don't even go to the bank to buy the money. They go local to buy the money. Are you aware? They go local to buy the money. But if you go to the banks to buy this money, they are regulating the banks, what comes in and what goes out. But most of us goes out and send the money to your account in abroad for my children for their school fees.
All right. This is quite getting heated. We have to go on a very short break right now. And when we're back, the conversation on Atlantic Blowout will continue. Stay with us.
Get ready! As Morrison Communications Limited proudly presents Children's Day Celebration 2024.
Arts. La Small Hotel and Resorts, number 9, Rumukalabo off Waterlines, Basta, Port Harcourt. On Saturday, May 25th, starting at 8 a.m. Inter-school march past competition,
Dance competition, drama competition. Parents, teachers and children alike, don't miss out on the fun with Uncle Clown bouncing castle as we cut the children's day cake. Admission is just 2,000 naira per child. For participation and sponsorship opportunities, call us now 0806 673 8689
and 0810 634 1777.
This event is proudly sponsored by the Last Mall Hotel and Resort with Atlantic Television Network and 99.5 Wish FM Port Harcourt, Lesuka Event Center, Gate Place Hotel, 8 Ball Hotel and Lounge, Oma Studio, Osgia Table Water. Remember that every child is unique. See you there. This event is managed by Pace Expressions Arts.
Special guest appearance, Hilda Dokumo, Children's Day Celebration 2024.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, Through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
To know you're still here with us on Atlantic Blowout. We're still discussing topical issues in Nigeria today. And before we went to that short break, we had Ambassador telling us his fears, should I say fears now, that what the EFCC has said and the law that they have made reference to just might not be implemented. Yes, Ambassador. Why? Back to the reason why. Because we've had so many cases of different agencies coming up and referring to the law. And then some Nigerians coming up to say, that's just paperwork. They just want to put it up there so we'll see that they are working. But when it comes to implementation, it's a problem. Why do we always feel, or why does it always seem like implementation is a problem in Nigeria?
You've said it all. You just said it all. That many Nigerians feel
yes, it's
a paperwork. Because they have filled a lot of stories that comes out to tell us to say, when somebody kidnap you, stab you to death, and that person is caught, you take him to court and imprison him, does it make sense? But the man that carries drug, you give him death penalty. Let us put things in place. Yes, they've made a very perfect law. It's good. We like it. Let us implement it for once and see if this country, things will not change in this country.
But you made an outright statement.
That it will not be implemented.
No, I'll come back. Let's get to hear from
well,
Dr.
I think let's for once be optimistic
okay.
That
this will work.
It will work. We are people of faith. We believe there is nothing impossible. I want to believe that for them to come up with this decision right now, because the situation is actually affecting everybody.
Everybody.
Not that they do not know that the law is there, but unconsciously, like you said, it looks like drama. There are so many leaders in our country today who don't spend our naira.
Yes.
So many. They spend dollars.
You go to occasion, you see people dancing, they are spending dollars. Those people should be arrested, prosecuted, and imprison them.
You know, so if leaders of our country are not even using our currency for this purpose of forming class, you know, so these are part of the weakening of the law. Because those who are supposed to strengthen it, to ensure that is effective, they are opposing that law, maybe unconsciously to them. So if we want our naira to be used and to be valuable, the leaders must start the usage of our currency. Because if you love something, you know, we in Nigeria, in Africa, all over the world, whatever our leaders does becomes the standard of the day.
Yeah.
So if my boss is spending dollar, unconsciously to me, I'll be desired.
Bani chief should be in prison. Bobrisky, they should all be in prison.
A lot of people will be in prison because for some time now.
And it has not been implemented.
It wasn't changed today.
No. You see, you are coming to us now.
Go on.
You are trying to, because you are not saying implementation is the problem we are having. That's what we said. That EFCC has made the law. It's a perfect law. If it's followed, Nigeria will be good. Our currency, before you know, it will change. So these people that abuses Nigerian currency by going to party and you make Nigerian currency nonsense by throwing it anyhow, you do like this. For God, it is our money. It's our country money. Should be in prison by now. You will not grant them bail. You don't grant them bail. When I see that this man is being arrested and put in prison, things will change in this country, my sister.
You see, Ambassador, in that area of
imprisonment,
spraying our currency.
Yes.
You know, we are Africans, and Africans are show people.
Yeah.
Now, most of these laws has to be contextualized. Our problem is not even, we know that our currency represents us.
Yes, of
now,
course.
our problem is not even the spray of that Nigerian currency. Because even if they finish spraying it, they still assemble them back and can still be used.
So what is our problem?
You know,
if that's
our problem.
No, sorry, sir. Let me help you.
Okay, sir.
In United States of America, have you seen where they do party and they spray money? Let's tell us, they spray their dollars.
You know, that's where I'm coming.
Okay.
You know, I'm trying to speak like someone who tries to appreciate whom we are.
Spending our money.
As Africans.
As proud people.
He's wondering where our problem is. That's what I'm waiting for.
Now, our problem is not really on the spray of our Nigerian money. Our problem is the value. When I mean the value, when you take it to activities, is on the business and the economic activities that has great effect on our own economy. So for me, going to arrest people who spray Nigerian currency, for me, it's like living the real.
But they are only implementing the law. We have been screaming for
I'm not.
And now they're implementing the law.
You see, if you decide to start arresting people and imprisoning them for wrongdoings, for God's sake, when you go to stores, even the white men, when they come into that store, you have Nigerian, let them use Naira. Go and change the Naira and come and spend Naira for us.
Good. So Ambassador, we are now in one.
No, I know. You know, that's what I'm trying to say. Our problem is let us change the narratives of, this will hold $1,000. No, we don't need it. If you have $1,000, change it to 100,000 and come and spend Nigerian money for us. Let us stop spending all this foreign currency, euros and whatever in this country. And you see changes in our economies.
So the people
So when you start putting people in prison,
implemented, yes, of course.
Okay.
Now let's move on to the next story. The Executive Secretary, National Board of Technical Education, Professor Mohammed Idris, urges the management of federal polytechnics in the country to shun illegal actions, especially over-enrollment of students, and uphold integrity. Idris, represented by the Zonal Director, South-South Zonal Office of the Board, Cyril Mbong, gave the charge on Saturday at the median matriculation of the Federal Polytechnic Oregon in the Ughelli North local government area of Delta State, while urging institutions management to create an enabling environment that would encourage students to inhibit their latent gifts. The MBT Executive Secretary described the matriculation as a great milestone in the history of the institution. All right, let's also get here. This has been stated as a problem. The MBTE has spoken against over-enrollment in our polytechnics. I think our focus here is not just about the matriculation, which we celebrate with the celebrants, but let's also get to look at the problem of over-enrollment in polytechnics. When I read that, I saw you really shaking your head. Looks like you can relate. So let's get to hear your thoughts.
You see, when you talk about over-enrollment of students, now, don't you have, don't you have a certain number of students you are supposed to enroll. You over-enroll because of the criminality in it. You want to make more money that will not go to government. That is just what they are doing. You see, when you over-enroll people, where is the money going to? Sometimes you find out that you're supposed to have about 100 students in a school, and you have 200 students. And at the end of the day, you find out the cultism and whatever Yahoo, this is what a lot of them are doing in schools. But when you decided to make the, enroll the real people in university, because I know when I went to technical school, and you have university people coming for their, how do you call it, this NYSC, when you are in class doing certain practicals, they are asking you, please, what is this? How do you get this? How do you get that? They are from university. So you find out that the science aspect of our country is being run by the polytechnics. So let's be focused and get people that will actually come out from the university and do something meaningful for the country to help our, engineering.
All right, let's hear you, Doctor.
Well, I think when a problem is noticed, the first question is, what is the cause of this problem? He tries to talk about the area of maybe trying to make more money, the runners of those institutes. But again, I look at it this way. It should be a call to the relevant authorities that Nigerians want to get into the polytechnics. So if we do not have enough polytechnics in that area, why don't you, create more, establish more, so that there will be no enrollments? Because these are Nigerians. They want this admission. So are you saying that they should not be admitted, whereas they are qualified? So I think it's for government to say, okay, because we are experiencing over-demand, it's a business because it's not free. When you have more customers, you should know that you need to expand. So I think they need to expand by creating more campuses for such admission. And more so, my own is not even about the admission, the enrollment. My own is about the academic content. Are they graduating to become assets or liabilities? Every growing economy, every growing nation is relied upon those who are into production. But it will interest you to know that even that same, what do you call it?
The environment in polytechnics?
No, the polytechnics.
Okay.
Is still a certificate-oriented institute.
But Ambassador just explained that that's
he talks
where
about
the
at the
practical comes
secondary.
in.
Then when it will be like GTC or craft center is talking about. Okay. So we are talking about academic content that should be production-driven. That when this
availability of those facilities, do we really have those facilities?
Most of the polytechnics we have in this country today don't have those things. It's because I want to say it's because our own is tag oil and gas. Because we're looking at you coming out and getting employed in the oil and gas company. Maybe that was, but if our polytechnics today are of standard and have these facilities, and with what he said, you're talking about over enrollment.
All the time, most times. When I was in secondary school, my introductory technology teacher asked us to go and prepare for oral tests. So mine, I had to, in terms of preparation, the question that he asked me, that I have crammed, was the definition of an atom. So when he got to my turn, he said, Ekie, can you stand up and define an atom? So I quickly said that an atom is the smallest indivisible particle of an element that takes place during chemical reaction.
is completely right.
No, no,
that
no.
the students who graduated from universities cannot produce anything for
Now
this nation?
let me ask you.
No,
We have College of Education. College of Education is different, still the theoretical. We have science technological universities, right? What innovation or what has any of our institutes from all the universities of science and technology that we have, starting from University of Science and Technology, Nkpolu here, Port Harcourt, Bori Polytechnic, Sarowiwa, right? And you keep naming them. Have you heard, Ambassador, that they have manufactured or produced one thing? And yet you are looking for money for research, and you are asking for more increment to continue to produce reliabilities.
How do people produce without research? So you just faulted them asking for money for research. I think aside your explanation and all of that, I still do not agree, and I think we should not outrightly say that the students who graduate from this anything for Nigeria.
Can I inform you?
Go on. Inform the viewer.
A professor who produces or graduates a civil engineer will not even give his graduate student for him in Nigeria. A professor who graduates a mechanical engineer will not even give him his car to fix for him. It will shock you. He will still go and call Ade, who is not a graduate of a university. So the point we are saying is, if our academic content is not solution driven, because if they graduate and they are self-reliant, not according to, we are talking about what you can do.
What you can do.
If you can do something like Ade, who never go to school to get certificate, I can tell you that we will have more assets.
From this conversation, it is obvious that some of our laboratories and research centers, and some of these are... Hold on, I'll get to you. You share your thoughts, all right? Some of them are not well equipped. Some of them do not have the facilities that these students need for them to understand the practical aspect of what they are learning, which is what we have shown on the table and we have all agreed. Can you tell us what the solution to this problem is? Because aside discussing the problem, we also need to get to where the solution is.
Provide for that.
So what is the problem then?
It goes that way. Let us say the truth.
Is it talking about corruption? Let me tell you, I was privileged to meet the owner of Innocent Motors, Chief Innocent Chukuma. Now, there was a time the University of Nsukka, the leadership of the institute, paid him a visit and as well invited him to come and talk to students. So when he got to the institute, the students have gathered in the hall, and then the vice chancellor went to whisper to him, said, Chief, you can use pidgin or you can use Igbo. Somebody can I've said one that our academic content needs to be reviewed. It should not be according to. You cannot be teaching people what you do not know.
No, or what you don't have on ground.
Teach them if it is to produce laptop. Get the resources that will enable them begin to manufacture laptop. If it is wristwatch, let our educational content be problem solving. It should be economic viable, so that when you graduate from school, you will be needed in the academic, in a university studying
with
masters in business, whatever. Because why? He knows nothing about business. So we're talking about intentional training, not lecturing. I don't know whether you get me. The world have gone beyond lecturing. We should be talking about training. Ambassador is itching to say something.
There are sometimes I dabble into the social media, and I will see somebody inventing. The person has not gone to school before, from a state inventing a car, movable car.
Even children.
They do it. Now, what do you think the state government is supposed to do? They're supposed to get those kind of people, bring them together, take them to the school. This knowledge you have, impact it onto the students. Will make the fund available in that school. What are we doing now? We're talking about productivity now.
Including Bill Gates.
Which school did they go to?
These are dropouts, right? Because why? Like, can I tell you, go to China today, Google how many universities they have in China. Because that's not what they need. Every growing economy now is talking about
productivity.
Training is different from lecturing.
Yeah.
That's why I told you that I'm among those who will say, add no money to ASU. Because they must intentionally advocate that the academic content of the institute in some of the areas of discipline is not relevant again.
This is actually one of the reasons we have these people graduating, and when it starts, you have some companies saying
they will
things
train
like,
them again.
We have to train you, or you need to have
load from here, maybe to NTA, you know. It's not driven, it's computerized. Now, last month, 3 other persons.
According to the act, a levy amounting to 0.5% of the value of all electronic transactions will be collected and remitted to the National Cyber Security Fund, overseen by the Office of the National Security Advisor. According to the Act, financial institutions were required to apply the levy at the point of electronic transfer or suspend it and go back to it and take a look at it. Yes, Dr. Ekie.
Well, what I discover in our country, first of all, let me appreciate again the National Assembly and the person who raised that motion again, Honorable Okechinda, who's from River State here, for taking time to raise that motion in the National Assembly. Let me also commend the President for swift response to ensure that once you want to arrogate powers to yourself, EFCC will say this before you know it's countered by another arm of government, you know, then the President will also...
Because actually, when it comes to crime and check and balance, we have to come together as one. You don't make law that's going to now oppress or suppress the common man. You don't make laws like that. Because
actions would have been made before it was made an act?
No, listen. Even though it's a law, we want to say we want to implement it now. Now let us look about implementation. Is it going to help us or is it going to kill us? It's a law. Who made the law? Man made the law. So when we want to implement, we should going to look at this time that we are now, this economic period we are. That me and you the cry say a new local is keeping us under this condition. You want to bring this one again. You know what I'm saying? We're not saying you shouldn't be, you know, but for now, make it wait.
Let me just add, looking at the topic, cyber security. Cyber security is not when the police harass. Cyber security is not when this the father can provide for his good well-being. So you don't see any young man on the road and you begin to harass that person because he's having an Android phone. I think it's part of what I advocate for. We are talking about national development. We are in a computer age, right? And if you have laptops in the hands of our young people, you are asking that every parent should give their child access to computer. Because that's the time the government, the police should be careful. Because we are struggling as a nation, not knowing where our problem is coming from. A little child in the United States they have better brain. The truth is no, because when...
Look at this one, over 50 illegal crude oil refining sites in the Bisani area of Yenagoa local government area of Bayelsa State were uncovered by the Joint Task Force codenamed Operation Delta Safe. JTF Commander John Okeke, who led the operation on Sunday, said illegal refining of stolen crude oil was... Okeke said he had earlier warned oil thieves in the area to desist from illegal refining of crude oil or relocate to other areas. No arrests were made, but he urged public-spirited persons in the area to volunteer useful information that would help in reducing the menace of illegal business, as the JTF cannot do it alone. He assured that the JTF would continue to chase after oil thieves to do what he described as clearance action, warning that the JTF may come up with more drastic measures. Also uncovered in the area was a large oak that could accommodate over 10 trucks of alternative gas oil. It is believed that the open pit is used to store stolen crude oil from where it is distributed to their refining sites.
You said 40 illegal refineries. 50.
Over 50.
I like to tell you that if they are owned by one person, these are 50 industrialists who are Nigerians.
Helping the country.
50 industrialists. You say Operation Save Delta. Is it Operation SAP Delta? The people who are mining that, trying to refine those products, where are they taking the product to? Are they exporting it? Or they are going to help Nigerians that are going through high price of fuel? What is the developmental situation of that same community where those illegal, according to the law, it is law, right?
Exactly, and remember we were talking about implementation.
No, I agree.
This is
we're talking about
the law.
contextualization.
Yes, go on.
You don't make a law to oppress people.
Okay, you feel this law was made
Most
to
of these laws are oppressive because why? You don't call the owner of a thing a thief. You are from Zamfara. You don't own crude in Zamfara for selfish interest. I've made it clear. So the point here is, this oil is in my village. I don't have good pipe-borne water. I don't have good road. I don't have good social amenities. You have been drilling these things for years of no benefit, no scholarship. And then the day I wake up to go and collect small so that I can help my life, because you can't help me from what I have, you call me a thief. Me and you, who is supposed to be the thief. In one case, my allusion, in as much as, and gold is more expensive than crude. During the period of election, I don't want to mention them, but there is one of these Jews who was aspiring to become Senate President of this country.
Over 50 illegal
No. Yeah. You see, look, but my dear, do you know that there was this asking people to give license for... You tell me I forged that letter because the letter did not get to you. That's a forged letter. Is it possible? This crude oil, we own it. It's our property. It's our own.
We cannot take out the law now.
No. What is the law? What is
the
oppressive
law now?
It's an oppressive law.
Oppressive law.
Let's tell ourselves the truth. A situation where things you're supposed to do, you've not done it. Okay, look at the Dangote refinery. Dangote refinery. What stops us having these small refineries within this locality? It will help Nigeria. It will help the country a lot. Not until we go back to that modular refinery they're talking about. They cannot stop illegal.
So are you talking about the government collaborating with this?
Not collaborating, giving license.
But they should allow.
They should allow to refine freely. Yes. It's our own. All women are here. That's my language.
You can ask them to pay tax.
You know what I'm saying? You ask them, they'll pay their tax. Like other person, because as soon as you license them now, you gazette them. You make sure that they pay their tax, isn't it? And freely they will give out these things without any quarrel.